Welcome to another trip down the Bourbon Road with your hosts, Jim and Mike. So grab a glass of your favorite bourbon and kick back.
We would like to thank our friends at Premium Bar Products for sponsoring this episode. If you're ready to step up your game at your home bar, check out PremiumBarProducts.com to choose from their wide selection of glassware, all of which can be custom engraved with your personal message or logo. And there's no minimum order. So after the episode, head over to PremiumBarProducts.com and check out everything they have to offer. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Shannon.
And I'm Mike Hyatt.
And this is the Bourbon Road. And today, Mike, kind of getting ready to head out of town, trying to knock out a few episodes in preparation for heading down to Mexico.
Well, actually, if people are listening to this right now, we're either on a plane heading to Mexico
or there,
or we're in Mexico in the pool drinking right now.
Yeah.
We're probably drunk.
Could be. I think, we're going to start on the plane, maybe, if our wives will let us do it.
Yeah. If you're listening to this in the evening time, we're definitely feeling good.
Yeah. So we're going to Cancun. Well, not Cancun. We're going to Playa del
Carmen is how I said it.
Yeah. It's Riviera, south of
Mayan
Cancun.
Riviera.
All inclusive, food, fun, lots of drinking, lots of partying.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bourbon down there, but we're taking some.
We're both taking a bottle with us.
Yeah.
And we actually, the company reached out to us, and we're going to take a travel decanter with us. So look for that travel decanter in our photos. I'm going to fill it up with a pretty special whiskey. Jim, I know you're taking a really special whiskey
Taking
with
a special bottle as well. And we'll record a nice show while we're down there and let everybody sort of jump in on the fun. Now, we did get an email from another roadie. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
We got an email from a roadie that said he'll be at the Valentine Imperial Maya the same time as us.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And he wanted to introduce himself and just let us know that. So we're going to have to search him out.
Well, we do. I've already found some bourbon drinkers down there, so they're expecting us. I said, you just find me in the pool. You'll know who I am, whatever you.
Mayor Mike,
big chiefs in the pool, having fun. But we're actually out here at Jeff the Pin Farm tonight.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I'm looking to sun about to set. Beautiful sunset. I got Woodrow. He knows it's time for recording, doesn't he?
He does.
And you brought over a bottle of Basil Hayden 10-year rye whiskey, Jim.
Yeah. Yeah. So I received this bottle from a friend. I did a favor for him, and he said, what can I give you? And I said, well, I don't need anything. I'm just happy I was able to help you out. And he said, well, I've got to give you a bourbon or something. I said, well, you don't need to do that. He said, no, I want to. I feel like I want to give you a bourbon. I said, well, okay, if you got to do it, you got to do it. Well, he gave me a couple, but neither one of them were bourbons.
American whiskey he gave you was the Old Scout 107, right?
That's right.
It was an American whiskey that was blended, had some bourbon in it, but it was a blend, right?
Right.
And then this Basil Hayden right here.
Right. So we've never had this one before. It's Craft Distillery Monday. Hey, why not?
Yeah, well, it's one of Jim Beam's small batch whiskeys they have out of the distillery. They got Booker's, they got Baker's, they've got Knob Creek, and then they got Basil Hayden.
Now, everybody knows Basil Hayden always rings in at 80 proof.
Yeah, there's no surprise with that. A lot of people, they get beat up on it a lot. But if you want to introduce somebody to whiskey, this is a great whiskey to introduce them to. It won't burn them up or anything. Very light. 80 proofs. That's what the rest of the world usually drinks. When you talk about, we drink in craft all the time. That's cask strength. That can be off-putting to some people.
It can be. It can be. But tonight it's a rye night. It's a Monday night. It's a rye night. We're sitting down with a little bit of Basil Hayden. It's 10 years old, though. I'm kind of interested to find out what a Kentucky rye with 10 years on it, proof down to 10, to 80 proofs, what it's going to taste like.
Now, this has an undisclosed mash bill, but it's $70 MSRP. That you could buy that at Total Wine or something like that at that price.
Now, Basil Hayden's has the 10-year-old bourbon as well.
Yeah.
We haven't had that on the show yet.
I'm not going to lie. I have a couple bottles of Basil Hayden up underneath the counter over there. I got the rum finished one. I do have the regular. I like them for guests that don't like the cast strength or somebody that's new and said, hey, introduce me to some whiskey. I'll bring one of those out. And I think that's a great way to introduce them. There's nothing wrong with that. There's shouldn't be shaming people for that. That's what they're drinking. They want to buy the bottle of it. I let them have it. I like their packaging on this. The whiskey in the bottle is kind of light looking. Would I expect that out of 80 proof, right?
Yeah, I think it's a bottle presents itself as a high-end bottle. You know, it's got that strap around it, that belt that goes around it, the paper dress.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call that. It's kind of a paper dress, and it's got foil around the top. It's a sharp looking bottle. If you've seen Basil Hayden, they usually have a pretty sharp looking bottle. Looks good on the bar.
Sure.
But they're after a particular demographic with this, a certain kind of person, you know. And hey, it's a popular whiskey, so there must be a reason for that.
Well, I say let's nose this thing.
Let's check it out.
Man, that's got some fresh canned peaches in it right there. You know, like your mom used to make.
That's a light nose. Very, very, the waft is just kind of light and refreshing.
I think, besides canned peaches, I think of fresh cut flowers. You know, you wouldn't bought your wife a bouquet of flowers, something like that. Real floral. Just spring.
Yeah, fresh cut grass, spring. Good time for that, right? Because the grass is coming out. The trees are flowering right now. Got a freeze warning tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that over dinner. That we're worried about that. But last year, the freeze killed all of our fruit trees. Not killed them, but it killed the blooms, and worried about the same thing this year.
Well, nosing this was not raising my eyebrows at all. It's just kind of a nice, light, airy nose. Not a lot of spice. A little bit.
You can smell that peach sugar, like the liquid you get off canned peaches.
Oh yeah,
syrupy.
Yeah.
I kind of get that in this.
Okay, let's taste it. Cheers.
Cheers. Super light.
Very light. Very kind of just washes over your mouth a little bit. Doesn't really present itself as anything more than an 80 proof whiskey. Not very complex, not very layered. I'm getting that sort of grassy note, a little bit of like kind of a nutty.
Peanuts.
Yeah. Green boiled peanuts.
Boiled peanuts.
Yep. A little bit of fruit.
There's a little bit of bitterness on that. Almost like biting into a piece of green fruit.
But it's kind of refreshing. I think it's a nice, easy, one note kind of rye whiskey. I mean, if you wanted to give somebody a rye that had never had a rye before, and you wanted to introduce them to a rye and say, hey, have you ever had a rye whiskey? And they say, no, I've never had one. I got one I want you to start on, give it a shot, see what you think. This might be something that wouldn't turn them off to ryes.
It's got a little bit of white pepper spice on it. No Kentucky hug on this. I wouldn't expect that from an 80 proofer anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the finish just kind of disappears. It doesn't hang around at all. What little bit is there, it's got that little bitterness on it, like you said.
I'm starting to pick up, as it sets in the glass a little bit more, I'm starting to pick up that peanuts. Just a little bit more, that little bit of nuttiness.
But it's almost like a little bit of green boiled peanuts. Been a while since I had a boiled peanut.
Yeah, this has no finish on it at all. Very little to non-existent.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Mike. I'm not getting the 10 years in this. I don't see it. And I believe it. I believe it's a 10-year whiskey, but something is just not coming across in the palate. There's not a preponderance of oak. There's not any deep, dark, rich kind of flavors that are coming out.
It washed it all away.
It's kind of washing away. It's I'm getting that that sort of green boiled peanut kind of flavor. I'm getting a little bit of the sort of the caramel vanilla that you would expect from a bourbon. I'm getting that here. This is, we don't know what the mash bill is, but I'm going to assume this is a Kentucky rye.
I would think so. It's very light on the palate, like we said. No to just a little bit of finish on it. No Kentucky hug. That bitterness, I couldn't see even using this it's so expensive, $70 a bottle. I couldn't see using it as a mixer.
I don't think it would shine through in a cocktail.
No, I think just sitting down as a summer sipper, as like you said, introducing somebody new to rye, it's not very harsh on the palate at all. So I think that's what it would be, a good starter rye.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you want to have something on your bar that is reserved for the new whiskey drinker, the person who's never had a rye before, that you want to introduce them to it, you want to show them a bottle that presents well. It's a beautiful bottle. Looks great. Pull it out, pour them a little bit off on it. I think just about anybody could sip on this without being overtaken by, the burn or the alcohol or the strength of a rye whiskey.
I wouldn't mind drinking this over rocks, I guess. I think that would be really nice down by the fire this spring. We'll revisit this bottle. I think it'd be perfect for that. You probably sit there and drink that whole bottle, no problem.
Yeah. So you're talking about like a refreshing rye whiskey poured over ice, hot day down by the river. I could do that.
And I think it would probably open it up a little bit.
Well, when you're just sitting there drinking, you're not really thinking about the whiskey. You're just sipping on something. You're not particularly looking at it and analyzing it and trying to determine whether or not it's got this note or that note. You just got this simple whiskey that doesn't make you think.
Well, that's probably where this bottle will end up for us. I would think is we'll probably enjoy this thing and by a fire down by the creek, enjoying some good food, good company with good people, and probably some new whiskey drinkers always show their way over here somehow, some way. Seems always right.
Every bottle gets opened here and nothing ever goes to waste.
No, never goes to waste. Try to share it with people. And, I think it's a fine bottle of whiskey. I do see people beating it up because it's 80 proof, but I think people need to remember that we're all not whiskey nerds. Some people are just starting that whiskey road. Other countries don't drink high proof whiskey. So this is perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, Mike, I'm gonna say definitely not a mixer because I don't think it would stand up in a mixed drink or a cocktail. I think it's a sipping whiskey, but it's a sipping whiskey for a hot summer day. Maybe even throw an ice cube or two in there. It's not anything that you're gonna want to give to your knowledgeable whiskey guest.
Yeah, to me, this would be just a pass altogether because I think there's better ryes out there.
Yeah.
I could buy Old Forester rye, which was on your list last week, or I could go with a Michter's rye whiskey. I could go somewhere there that's 90 or 100 proof, and I think I'd still introduce them properly to rye whiskey. That's just me. Pass for me.
I'm not going to point anybody towards this bottle. No. I think there's a market out there for it, but honestly, I wouldn't be inclined to put it on my bar.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. Hey, that's what we're about. Is telling the truth. It's not a mixer. You want to introduce somebody if you had a bottle already, or to say, hey, what is a bottle I should get? They got a little bit deeper pockets. This might be it for them.
It's not a bad whiskey. It's a good whiskey.
Yeah.
So, nothing wrong with it other than the fact that it just doesn't kind of rise to the standards of something I want to put on my bar. So,
well, cheers to another great review.
Absolutely, Mike. Well, where can everybody find us?
Everybody can find us on social media at The Bourbon Road. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. We don't have nothing up there yet. We keep promising. We just promise you guys all.
You can also find us on a beach near Cancun, right?
Yeah, that's where you can find us at. You definitely find us drinking some whiskey somewhere. So that's where you can find us at. We also have a private Facebook group called The Bourbon Roadies, 1,600 strong in there right now. Got to answer 3 questions.
Yeah. Want to make sure you're 21. Got to be old enough to drink. You're getting yourself into a bourbon group, and that you absolutely agree to play nice and don't troll, don't criticize, just be part of the fun, be part of the family. Jump in there and post your reviews and your whiskeys and your pictures and whatever else you got going on in your life. Great group of people, like family.
I'd tell you this, Jim. I saw another group, and a girl went on and did a live in another group. She passed out on there, and she drank too much. Mm-hmm. But they criticized her so much, she almost committed suicide that day.
Yeah.
We don't want something like that in our group.
Right. No haters. Just lovers, man. We just want lovers in our group, right?
Rising tides raise all ships. That's the best way to say it. And that's what we like to do.
Well, we do 2 shows a week. We do a Craft Distillery Monday episode, like today's episode, every week on Mondays, where we do a short review of a great bottle or an okay bottle. It all depends. We try to get as many bottles in front of you as we can. We also do a long episode every Wednesday where we have somebody on the show. Usually we do an interview. Sometimes it's just Mike and I, but we want to give you a little more content, a little more length to it, something you can drive to work and home from work and listen to one episode. We'd love for you to listen to both episodes every week. And Mike, how do they make sure they know about these episodes?
Well, you scroll up, hit that subscribe button on your phone, on your computer. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and then scroll on down and give us a review. 5-star, hopefully 1-star if you have to, but please tell us what we need to do to get that 5-star from you, and then go back and leave us a 5-star if we fixed everything. You can also check out our webpage, Jim. We got some gear on there. Go on there and buy that gear. That's how me and Jim travel on down that Bourbon Road. We got our Bourbon Bullshitter t-shirt, our Glencairns, which we're drinking out of today, from Premium Bar Products or distilleryproducts.com. You can find our hat on there, a couple of other shirts. Go on there and buy some stuff. Read our articles on there, read our blogs, and read our reviews on there. Hopefully we put it up for your enjoyment. There's some knowledge on there too. You find some suggestions for the bourbon trail for your bourbon pilgrimage to here to Kentucky.
Absolutely. And it's getting ready to open back up. So we're kind of excited about the changing times here. Well, keep in mind, folks, Mike and I are always interested in knowing what you think. We always want to know if you've got a bourbon, if you've got a rye whiskey, if you've got an American whiskey that you think is something special from your hometown, you'd like us to take a look at it and maybe do a review on it, let us know. Let us know if you've got a guest that you'd like to hear on. You can always reach out to us. You can find me on Instagram at jshannon63.
I'm One Big Chief.
And we will see you down
the Bourbon Road.
Well, you can't drink whiskey without glassware. And Mike and I are extremely pleased to have a sponsor like Premium Bar Products. Premium Bar Products offers direct-to-consumer the finest whiskey glasses, cocktail glasses, and bar tools with your own personal engraving. I mean, you can write anything you want on these glasses, anything from a company logo to a personal statement, and there are no minimum orders. Their direct-consumer platform offers you the opportunity to purchase small quantities of your favorite glass shapes that enhance the pleasure of enjoyment and drinking a whiskey and make it all very positive. They offer the absolute finest trending and handmade glasses, as well as a comprehensive range of styles, and all of their items have been designed with purpose, practicality, and longevity in mind. So if you're a bourbon or whiskey group and you need custom logos, you need to reach out to Premium Bar Products. If you're an individual, you just want a few for your bar, to impress your friends, to give out as gifts, you need to call Premium Bar Products. They need to be your one and only source for custom glassware. I can tell you right now, the Bourbon Road, that's who we use. Janie and Carson and the team there at Premium Bar Products will take care of you. They'll treat you like family, and they'll take care of you with every order.